Good day, fellow Jersey Nerds, and welcome to episode 42 of the Jersey Nerds podcast, powered by HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. I'm your host, Ryan, coming to you from the suburbs of Toronto, Ontario, where currently it is hot as balls, and we're sweating our balls off here, but that's not the topic of today's podcast. The topic of today's podcast will be the Newfoundland Growlers, one of the newest ECHL teams, new jerseys revealed. We're also going to be talking about a cool little topic. We're going to be looking at our no trade lists, and we'll get into a little more detail on that when we get there. But we have no trade lists based entirely on look. We also have our usual features, mailbag, throwback throwdown, fake or authentic. And as always, get involved with what we're saying. We want to hear what you're saying as well. You can contact us on Twitter at HockeyJC or by email, mailbag@HockeyJerseyConcepts.com. And as we do every week, we bring in the writers to be guests on the podcast. And the usual crew is here, minus one. But we got Monday's writer, Shawn. What's going on, Shawn?
Doing well, coming at you live from the downtown of Halifax.
Woo!
Shout out to all those listening in Halifax or the great suburbs of Toronto, or wherever you may be listening at this time. Today's jersey is a 2009-2010 Tampa Bay Lightning away jersey, number 35, Dwayne Rollison, with the beautiful front numbers, which, as you may have guessed, are not that beautiful, and in fact, look quite dated.
Well, your jersey is really crested very beautifully, but just seeing the jersey on the Skype feed, like I can see it now, reminded me how bad those things were. They were awful.
This is also the jersey that at the Charlottetown airport set off the metal detector because of the metallic in the numbers.
The metallic twill in the numbers.
It set off their metal detector, and they had to use the wand on the back. And I heard Buddy whisper to the other guy, he says, "I think it's the numbers on the jersey."
Who the hell would wear... Only you, Shawn. That's fine. So if you're ever in an airport around North America and you see some dumbass wearing a Dwayne Rollison Tampa Bay Lightning jersey, go up and say hi. It's probably Shawn. Chances are good that you're gonna say, "Hey, Shawn, what's going on?" "Oh, hey, love the blog." Also joining us, Friday's writer TC. What's going on?
Not much. Just sitting here wearing my 2008-2009 Chicago Blackhawks alternate black. I actually love this jersey. It's probably my favorite alternate design that the Blackhawks have worn. It's just every time I see it, every time I wear it, I'm reminded, hey, why isn't this their current? And on top of that, it's great for road hockey because it's all black, so you don't really have to worry about scuffing it up.
How much road hockey's going on in Georgia?
Not a lot.
No, I wouldn't imagine. Okay, what would if there's a game of road hockey going on the road and a car drives up? Wouldn't they be a little caught off guard?
They would not be expecting it.
In Canada, it's just expected, and the car slows down, right? It's like, and then you might even like give the kids a wave because, hey, road hockey. But I can only imagine in some of the southern states where they're not expecting it, that would be like you might have to move the net really quickly, or else you're getting run over.
Yeah, my first couple of years in California, we lived on a cul-de-sac, and the neighbors whose kids weren't playing would stop and be like, "What are you doing?" Like, we're playing hockey. We don't play hockey. Like,
at least they allow it in Atlanta. Halifax,
it's not allowed.
Does not allow road hockey.
What?
Toronto tried to ban it for...
Yes, Ottawa did, I think. But
yeah.
That's Ottawa for you. I mean,
Toronto tried to ban it, and then I guess about a year or two ago, when like the new mayor came in as his first kind of goodwill act, he was like, "No, we're bringing back. Go ahead, kids, play on the streets. You go play hockey on the streets. It's all good."
You know what I think would be fun is playing road hockey the street I currently live on has a bunch of speed bumps on it. And I think that would be spectacular.
Actually, I'll tell you the best way to play road hockey is in a parking garage.
That would be good.
Parking garage road hockey. I did that in my first year at Dalhousie. There's a parkade across the street from the back of the residence I was in, and we would take a couple hockey nets, go put them up on the third floor of it, just wait for security to kick us out. But for the 2 hours we were up there,
that's a solid game.
You couldn't lose a ball because it just bounced off the roof. And we actually had like sticks and a bit of gear. So we had some good times up there.
And usually in the parking garage, that's like decent pavement.
Yeah, they keep those pretty nice.
Well, when you're dropping $35 a day for parking, you'd expect you want to be parking on gold, damn it. All right, let's get right into this. We're talking the Newfoundland Growlers' new uniforms. So by the time you listen to this podcast, this news will be nearly a week old, but this is our first chance that we've had to cover it. Newfoundland Growlers of the ECHL released their black and white jerseys that they will be wearing for the 2018-19 season. Let's take a look at them quickly here, or let's describe them. The black jersey has white stripes, I guess, around the elbows, and then going below that all the way to the cuff is their gold color. And then you have a thick white waistband, and then underneath going down to the hem is gold. The jersey is predominantly black. We got an edge collar here in gold with a black insert, the fantastic logo on the front with Newfoundland arched above it. And then on the shoulder patches, this is something unexpected, but we got an inaugural season patch, which is on both shoulders. Letter G in front of a compass. Says Newfoundland Growlers inaugural season in the team colors. It's pretty solid, but we'll get to that. The white jersey, similar elements here. We got a black stripe at the elbows, gold cuffs all the way down, broad black stripe at the hem with gold going down all the way to the bottom, black edge collar, gold insert, and then unfortunately we got yokes outlined in gold, but the fantastic shoulder patch is there. The difference between the white jersey and the black jersey is a lack of the word mark arched above the logo on this one. So let's jump right into it. What do we like? Go ahead, Shawn.
Overall, I like the simplicity of it all. The striping is pretty solid. A lot of people I don't think will like the mismatched arm and hem stripes, but I think that it works here. I think that they're distinct enough. The art script, I know a lot of people won't like that. I think it's a little small, but I like it as it is. It adds some white to what is otherwise a logo that is entirely black and gold. The white jersey, the phantom yoke isn't as bad as it could be. I do think that it adds a little bit of color. It does its intended purpose while, again, looking a little dated. As you said, the shoulder patch is fantastic, and I hope that all that they do is remove the inaugural season on the bottom of it, similar to what the Belleville Senators did. And overall, I think that they did a good job hyping this jersey with unveilings that required fans to, go like them on Instagram, get 200 comments here. They made it a little fun for them. And overall, I think it's just nice to see a team in Vegas gold that doesn't feel the need to go fully reflective.
Yeah, I think I agree with you on all those points there. I totally forgot about the reveal, but I thought that was really done well. With, whatever, go to Instagram and 500 likes would reveal some elements of the jersey, and that was really done well. TC, what do you like about this set?
Much like Shawn, I like the simplicity of it. It's solid first go around. It's nothing too flashy, but it uses the colors well and it gets the point across. I still love that logo of theirs, the big dog head. It's a fantastic looking logo. And the shoulder patches, I was initially against the use of the inaugural season patch as a shoulder patch. I think it actually works pretty well as a shoulder patch. Like I said, my initial reaction was that they got lazy, but it's a pretty solid design overall.
Yeah, I think so. We'll get into what we don't like here. So I'll kick it off. And the thing that really I'm not digging is the giant waist stripe compared to the regular size arm stripe. And I think that really sets off any kind of balance the jersey may have, or just if the stripes were similar in size, I think it could really look like a simple and classic set. I don't know what you're thinking, Shawn, but maybe something that you don't like about this set.
The striping itself, I get where you're coming from on it. I think that, again, we're finding a lot of teams are doing the whole, it looks better with the gear and the full kit than it does as the jersey. So as the jersey, I'll agree with you, but the kit, I think with the black gloves kind of saves it. Where both these jerseys seem to lose me is the size of the logo. It's actually quite small by comparison to what I think we were expecting. And it's high up. If you look at the graphical companions to go with it, you'll see the logo is very close to the CCM logo under the collar that all ECHL teams have. I expect the logo to be a little bit more centered on the jersey, and I get that hockey teams don't really do this, but since this is a rounder logo, or it's more symmetrical, circular even, it works. You should do that. And particularly on the white jersey, I just think that it gets lost. I think that if you added another black outline and made the logo a little bigger, this would work. The other solution, I think, is to add the Newfoundland or, I guess, Growlers. But again, I don't know how they would do this because, again, a lot of teams like to, on their away jersey, put the city name or the state name or province, and on the home jerseys, put the team name. But because the ECHL is one of the leagues that switches halfway through the season, it doesn't matter. And you don't want to have to make 4 jerseys. So I do kind of get that. But some consistency with the art script. I am a fan of the art script, and I think that you can add more black to the front of the white jersey where it is desperately needed, I think, to get away from that gold outline that does get lost on the white as it bleeds in. And on top of that, I think we can all agree that either be consistent with the Phantom Yokes. Again, they are kind of dated, but here they do, again, add some color. Add a white one to the black jersey, or better yet, take the other one off.
Yeah, the Phantom Yoke is another thing that just is not so great here for me. I think black shoulders would have been better than a Phantom Yoke, or just leave it. Just go with no Phantom Yoke. It works for the black one. Going back to likes, I did forget to mention that typically I would not enjoy a word mark being arched above the logo. Talking to you, Vancouver Canucks, but I think it's small enough. I think it's small enough here on the black jersey that it really works well. So I'm really impressed with the way that the word mark works here on this jersey. But going back to dislikes, yeah, that Phantom Yoke is really driving me nuts, and the fact that it's only on one jersey also is just another negative towards this set. TC, what's driving you nuts about this set?
Y'all have already covered the Phantom Yoke. I hate Phantom Yokes, and especially on this one where it's going to bleed in so much, light gold against white, it's just completely unnecessary. I will agree with Shawn that the logo is a little small. I'm going to disagree with him and say that I'm not a big fan of the word mark over the logo. I just really think that's Bush League. And, for half the season, it's like you're trying to remind your fans what city they're in. It's like, where are we? Oh, Newfoundland? Yeah, we're in Newfoundland. But the thing that really aggravates me the most about this set is the inconsistent hem striping. If you look on their website and you look at the jerseys that they have made up that you can order, the big white hem stripe on the black jersey is closer to the bottom and a little thicker than the black stripe on the white jersey.
Yeah.
And so you get more gold on the white jersey and less on the black jersey. And that little detail is so infuriating to me that you couldn't pick which hem stripe design you wanted, so you chose one for each jersey. That's just a cardinal sin for me, is the inconsistency of the hem stripe between the two.
My hope is that they just rush something to have as a display photo and maybe this will correct itself when the actual jerseys are ready for production, but that is something I didn't notice before, more because I probably just assumed they would be the same. But that is a huge issue, that the hemstripe placement is off between the two jerseys. That's disgusting. We touched on this inaugural season patch. Are we all in agreement that if they just remove inaugural season, that this thing can come back next year and years beyond as a shoulder patch? Shawn?
100%. I might even take it a step further. Scrap the roundel. I want the compass head with the G, and what you do is you make the non-matching northeastern point on it. You make that it's white on the black jersey and black on the white jersey. It stands out more. Even make the G black on the white jersey. It'll add more. Again, it'll add a lot more color. You could say even make it gold. Basically play around with the colors to get the balancing going, and then you don't need the roundel.
Agreed. TC?
I have to agree. I think it's pretty good as it is now, but going forward, if you take out the inaugural season, it's just going to be too much empty space on that. There's going to be way too much on the roundel. And I actually mocked up what it would look like and sent it to work group chat earlier in the week. And I think just the compass on its own is a really strong shoulder patch logo.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think almost any version of this logo, of this inaugural season logo, would be really, really welcome on future jerseys. It's a really solid logo. Goes great with the really solid primary logo. It's just coming across as a really solid brand, which is great, and a great addition to the ECHL, considering that we lost the Mallards. So you lose one great brand, but you're picking up another. We would love to read the comments from the readers on this story. Unfortunately, we had no comments left. But for any future news stories that break, leave comments down at the bottom of the story, and we'll read them at this portion of the podcast. We'd love to hear what you guys think of the jersey, what you like, what you don't like, things you would change. It really gets the conversation going. So for any future news items, be sure to leave some comments on the posts, and we'll read them here on the podcast. Let's go to our overall ratings out of 10. I'll start us off. As I mentioned, the logos are really solid, but the jerseys are just a bit too goofballish, I would say. They really missed the mark. So the logo saved this jersey. The fact that they really didn't go too far over the top, I guess, saves them from having an atrocious rating. But I am giving them a 6.5 out of 10. Shawn, what are you saying?
For me, it averages out to a 7.5. The white jersey gets a 7. I think that, again, we have some easy fixes here. Black jersey gets an 8. I think that's the one to get. And I think that they are going to sell a lot of these. And honestly, barring a solid gold alternate, the black jersey will be their best seller by far. And I think we'll see a lot of Leafs fans picking them up in the same way we saw the Orlando Solar Bears jerseys picked up by Leaf fans.
TC, your rating?
Again, just echoing what everyone else has said, the logos really make this. It's a very basic, safe design, especially for a team that's just starting out. And I'd normally give it a higher rating, but that hem stripe inconsistency is just really ruining it for me. So I'm going to give it a 6.
6 from TC. And that gives us the Devils rating of 6.66 repeated. So well done. Well done to the Growlers for creating demons from the depths of hell to wear on their backs all season. But our average rating here is a 6.66 for something that could have been better, but it's the ECHL, so there's always times that jerseys pretty much could change every year. Let's move on to, this is a cool topic that I've come up with here. And we've all heard of players with their no trade list. Usually Edmonton or Winnipeg end up on it because it's just so damn cold there. But If you were a player in the NHL and you had to make a no-trade list just based on the look of the team alone, and we're going to give a list of 3 teams here. This is teams you would not go to just based on their look. TC, start us off. Who's your number 3 team on your no-trade list?
Number 3 team for me is the Washington Capitals.
Wow, really?
Yeah, I know. I have never liked this design, their current edge template design, that they had the chance with the move to Adidas to move away from it, but they stuck by it. It bothers me that they're still using Mark logo when they have the Weagle that they could move over to. And, looking back, like, their original designs work because they were a little campy and it was the 70s and 80s and you could get away with that. I grew up watching them in Columbia blue, so I love those jerseys. That was the Capitals for a long time when I was first getting into hockey. And then they drop these steaming hot turds on the ice, and they've stuck by them for over a decade. The most redeeming part of this jersey, beyond the Weagle shoulder patch, which, they did have the Weagle in the original, but beyond the shoulder patch is the font they use. I actually like this font. It's modern, but not too over the top. Looking at you once again.
Vancouver taking a beating. I grew up with the Capitals as red and blue, so I'm this kind of a welcome.
You're so old.
Oh God, I'm so old. So those Columbia jerseys are kind of like the black sheep of the Washington Capitals jersey roster. So I'm that's a very interesting choice for me. I kind of enjoy their current look. It's not fantastic, but it's definitely not terrible. Shawn, what's your number 3 no trade list? No trade team on your list.
At number 3, I have to go with a team that never seems to satisfy its fans with anything they do, except for stealing Jeff Skinner, the Buffalo Sabres.
Oh.
In the same way that TC grew up on the Columbia blue, I grew up on goat head and black, red, and silver, and that's the Sabre look I like the most that isn't the Buffalo. Now, in all seriousness, the Sabres do look best in black, red, and silver. But for whatever reason, the mind of the Sabres fan seems to think that jerseys that were imperfect from the beginning took 17 years to properly fix, and the blue jersey wasn't even that great, are so holy, and they're the sacred cow that anything else is sacrilege. They attempted a very mid-2000s, early 2010s design with a solid primary logo, and the team rejected. They introduced a very nice script alternate that actually improved the striping of the original with a solid script logo that honored Buffalo's AHL history. Fans didn't like it. They bring in these crappy edge-type things with the piping and the pit stains and terrible color balancing on the white jersey. And fans were happier than they were with the solid jersey they had before. They brought in the turd burger, and now they have a mess of a jersey. The dulled colors have bored me at this point. In the words of Mike Singletary, cannot coach with them, cannot play with them, cannot win with them, can't do it.
Oh, that's another shot to my heart because, again, those goat head Sabres jerseys were just like, okay, that's the 90s. That's what we have to do for the 90s. And then they pulled it back in for the 2010s. But and I'm totally on board with the current Adidas look, but whatever, to each their own.
Numbers, 10 years past their expiry date.
Yeah, okay. The chest. I'm not saying Buffalo is excellent, but I still like them. I guess I'm looking past the chest numbers. I guess it's solid enough that I'm looking past the chest numbers.
It's
unlike the jersey you're wearing, the 08 Tampa Bay jersey, where that's all I see. I'm not even looking at your stupid face. I'm just looking at your stupid chest numbers. Anyways, that went off the that went off the rails. We beat up on Shawn last week, so maybe
that's okay. It's what the barista at Starbucks told me.
The number 3 team on my no trade list is the Calgary Flames. This is just a mess that could be easily fixed. It's a boring look. There's other options out there that I think could be, almost any option could be better. The numbers, the fix on the Adidas was not a fix at all. I didn't enjoy them. The sleeves are tiring. The stripes going up the side with them, the hem stripes being cut off by those stripes. It's just a mess of a jersey. So if someone said we're sending you to Calgary, I'd pull out this list and say, no, I'm not going. They look awful. TC, number 2 team on your list.
2 team for me is what I have no doubt will show up definitely in each of yours. The Ottawa Senators. I hate it. I hated it on the Edge template, but at least then it had a little bit of character with the sort of angular striping. It's just such a boring design. Let's make the underside of our arms black and then have a stripe opposite of the body, slightly above the cuff, which will also be black, and then throw in some random side panels. On top of it, the logo is just so bad. And as great as I think their shoulder patch logo is, they're trying to mix 2 different brands when they try to combine the O logo and their Senator logo. It's trying to shoehorn a nod to the past into a more modern take on their initial design, and it just doesn't work for me. The one thing that they did that I liked with these jerseys in the switch to Adidas was not doing a split collar. That's the only redeemable thing I can find about this jersey, is that they weren't tempted by the split collar. Other than that, it doesn't work for me.
Well said. Shawn, your number 2 team.
At number 2, I have decided to choose the team that, once again, fans are never satisfied with. Your number 3 team, the Calgary Flames. I completely agree with you that there are so many fixes this team could do. Literally take your side panels and put them sideways on your hem. There you go. Simple as that. I agree with you on the numbers. I agree with you that, I don't know if you said anything about shoulder patches, but let's not talk about the fact that they just use a Canadian flag and an Albertan flag as their shoulder patches when they have that beautiful C with the mountain and the wheat field logo from their previous alternate. Then there's the fact that, once again, you have a fan base that is consistently picking, they're never satisfied unless their team's wearing the jerseys from 35 years ago that aren't even that great. Now, these are a little better. I like Calgary's red jerseys, and their white jerseys one of my favorite of all time. But again, I don't want to play for a team where I'm just going to have the fans sitting there going, well, it's okay, I'm sure, but, I'd really like this team better if they wore the thing that they wore when they won the cup. Like, stop. Just stop. In the words of Michael Jordan, stop it. Get some help.
Just Michael Jordan. He's the only guy who's ever said that. All right, the number 2 team on my list, this may come up with number 1, but number 2 team on my list is the Nashville Predators. And just what a swing. We've mentioned this almost probably monthly throughout the season. What a swing going from what they had with Reebok to what they have now. You might as well just put on a raincoat and dip your arms in blue paint. This thing, it's supposed to resemble, the design of it is supposed to apparently resemble the Tennessee state flag, I believe, or maybe it's Nashville's flag. I don't even remember. But this thing is ridiculous. The yellow is the only thing they're owning, and after that, it's all just trash. I would not allow myself to be traded to the Nashville Predators and look like a damn school bus. I don't know. But Nashville, you're number 2 on my list. Let's go to TC's number 1.
My number one, and I can already hear Shawn's rebuttal in this. Number one, do not trade me, based on looks, is the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Ooh.
The away is not that bad. It's not great, but it's not that bad. That home, though, is the laziest design I have ever seen on a hockey jersey. It's basically a full-length phantom yoke. They have the most minimal hem stripe I've ever seen. I've never been a huge fan of their logo. Before the switch last season, the font was atrocious. The new one is a vast improvement, but I cannot stand that jersey. It is the laziest design I've ever seen. Like, for some reason, the Toronto Maple Leafs, when they had that all-white sweater with the blue leaf, then that was acceptable. You know the last time they wore those? 1934. Columbus is 83 years behind the times. This is my least favorite jersey in all of the NHL, probably in the history of the NHL.
Wow.
And on top of it, I don't want to have to live in Columbus.
That's surprising. Like, that logo is probably one of my favorites in the NHL, so that's a surprising decision. And I enjoy the Canon logo on the shoulder, but very interesting decision there. Shawn, what's your number one?
Number one for me is not the Ottawa Senators. They're an honorable mention, frankly, because for whatever reason, the squared off numbers for me, they seem to solve the issues that the original had, but and the design's not staying. So, hopefully the Senators wear black. And if I was ever traded to the Senators, God help me. But more importantly, my number one pick, and I'm lucky a certain writer isn't on today when I say this.
Uh-oh.
The New York Islanders.
Woo!
Are my number one pick for a no trade on the list. And I know what you're thinking. Why? You'll notice a theme on this list. I don't like teams that can't move forward with their jersey designs. I don't like teams that have to constantly call back to vintage jerseys. Even original 16s, with the exceptions of Montreal and Detroit, and even then they do it for outdoor games, can provide a new design every so often. Toronto's done it, Boston's done it, New York's done it. Every team evolves. And you have teams like Calgary, Boston, Philly, who would barely made the list, and most of all New York, where they can't move forward.
Would these guys still be on your list if they had the black Brooklyn jersey?
No, because it's an alternate. Like, okay, great. They might have moved down and Calgary be number one because I'm so sick of seeing Adidas templated 80s Calgary jerseys. But again, you have a solid design here. This is the design that was worn from 1972 to 76 on the home. Or sorry, 77. This isn't even the jersey that they won the cup in. They're fine. But they aren't great. There's nothing inherently great about this. The color scheme is great. It's inherently New York Islanders. But the jerseys themselves honestly kind of bore me. They're middle-of-the-road, decent hockey jerseys. And you can't tell me you can't come up with something better. But the second you try to, it's thrown out the window. It's sacrilege. You're messing with stuff you can't control. And before you even knew what you had, you had packaged it and put it on a black jersey. But you know what? Maybe you should be selling it.
You're selling it.
You're selling it. But you know what, New York? Maybe you should sell it. Because even just toying around with the striping lengths and, maybe switch one year, make the cuffs orange and have white there, or actually balance your colors properly on your white jersey. You're at least doing something. But when you just sit there and go, yeah, you can't do that. That's the design that they didn't win the cup in, but it looks old, and old is good, and we can't move forward, and we lost John Tavares, so we can't move forward. He's a traitor. Like, that's like, you know what happens when you do that? Joey McDonald becomes your starting goaltender, okay, again, and you finish 30th in the NHL. That's what happens when you can't move forward on your jersey designs.
So a 30th place or a 31st place finish is blamed entirely on
no. A 30th
designs.
place finish is if you have Matt Duchene on your team, as we've known the last 2 seasons. However, 31st is on your way if you sit and whine and pout because somebody dared to change the jersey. It's the New Jersey Devils argument all over again. The only difference is New Jersey won 3 cups in those designs, and they didn't change them, and their GM wouldn't let them change them. And then they went and made the playoffs for the first time in 3 seasons when they did it. New York, take a hint.
All right, New York, change your jerseys. You'll make the playoffs. So says Shawn. All right, the number 1 on my list, I'll get to in a second, but I wanted to have some honorable mentions here. Arizona, I know you guys are warming up to that, but I think that's still a mess. New Jersey, that's just so boring and plain that they nearly made my list. Philadelphia nearly made my list because that collar on the white jersey is just an abomination. But the number one team on my list, and they could wear whatever they wanted on their backs, and they would always be on my no trade list, is the Ottawa Senators. This jersey is dated. It's terrible. It doesn't make any sense. It just looks the way it does because of a stitching pattern that Reebok came up with. There is no sense to this jersey. It is awful. So the Ottawa Senators are number 1 on every no trade list ever, despite the criteria. But it just happens that they have terrible jerseys. So they're number 1 on my list. Ottawa Senators, I would never play for you. But then again, I'm never going to play in the NHL, so we don't have to worry about that. That's what
that accountant from Chicago said.
What happened to him? Yeah, I gotta maybe I should hang around a team and just be like, yeah, I have goal equipment. If you ever need anybody, I'm here. I'm putting you guys on the spot because we didn't prepare this. I guess we're talking your favorite jersey in the NHL. If you're gonna pull a superstar move and say, no, you can only trade me to this team because of the way their jersey looks, who would you choose? I'll start us off. I think Edmonton, they look phenomenal. I love Edmonton. I love the way they look. I think they really work well with the Adidas jerseys. So I would put Edmonton as probably the best looking complete jersey set in the league. Shawn, if you had to choose one team, you went to management and said, I'm only going to this team because of the way they look, who would it be?
I said this the day the Adidas jerseys were unveiled, but to play a home game for all 8 fans in Carolina in that beautiful red jersey, just for the jersey itself, just for the jersey, nothing, forget the team. Pretend this is 2002 and I get to play with Bryn Moore and Francis and friends and all that, and, Kevin Weeks is in that. It's fun. That's a beautiful jersey. And I think that, despite all the drama and the terrible trades and the fact that they are going to be the Quebec Nordiques, that would just be so great to step on the ice and say, in the same way that it would be great to say I was an Atlanta Thrasher, I'd love to say I was a Carolina Hurricane. Especially if I was one of those players who had played a long career for an original 6 team. If I had an 8-year career in, Detroit and racked up a whole bunch of, racked up some point per game seasons. And then all of a sudden I was just like, I really like Carolina's jerseys. I'm going to wear those for a year, just for a year, and then go back to Detroit. I'd do it.
Wow. Interesting choice, but I wouldn't expect anything less from you, Shawn. TC, your team you would demand to be traded to based on look alone.
Team I would demand to be traded to based on look alone. I'm tempted to say this because I really do. I love the Rangers jerseys, but I know that my opinion's not going to be taken as unbiased because I am a Rangers fan. I'm going to throw a curveball in there and say the Dallas Stars. I love the Kelly green. I love the new logo. The shoulder patch works great. I think it's a great looking jersey set. I have commented in the past the home jersey, the striping's a little boring, but you know what? When you're working with the color scheme they did a good job with it. And the away one, just fantastic. I love the Kelly green on the yoke. I love that they adapted the striping. It's a great look, and I think there's something to be said about being the only team in the NHL bright green as your predominant color.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a fantastic color. Just like, and that's the reason why I chose the Oilers. I think that orange is fantastic color. And actually, orange is going to be the topic of this week's Throwback Throwdown. For this week's Throwback Throwdown, we're heading back to the final season of the classic CCM jerseys. And we're looking at two of the orange jerseys in the league. We have the New York Islanders alternate jersey going up against the Philadelphia Flyers orange alternate jersey. So let's start with the Islanders here. As I mentioned, orange jersey, classic Islanders logo front and center. We got collar laces here. And then we have a very interesting navy pattern. We got cuffs at an angle. And then all of a sudden this white outline comes out of nowhere for these triangle shapes that come out from the cuffs and then point down to the hem and then kind of come back up to the side. And it's really weird. And we have a take on a traditional block font, but it's skinnier and sharper. It's outlined in white. It's definitely it's an interesting offering there from the New York Islanders. It's going up against the Philadelphia Flyers orange alternate jersey from the same year. So we have an orange jersey, as I mentioned, black, white, silver stripes on the hem. We kind of have I guess you could say, beveled or metallic kind of Flyers logo. It's really interesting. And then the design on the sleeves is this white swoop that goes from the top of the cuff and then swoops down into the armpit. It's outlined in black. We have traditional Flyers font here, but it's black numbers, white outline, and then I think there was even a silver outline on that as well. We got black cuffs. Another early 2000s, very interesting design. But two orange jerseys at the end of the CCM era going up against each other. Shawn, let's start with your Islanders review.
I'll always think of Wade Dublowitz with these jerseys, the man who eliminated the Leafs from the playoffs in 2006, 2007, because he wore them an unnatural amount of times that year. You said it right. These are interesting. And I think that even jersey traditionalists can find something to like about these jerseys. The fact that somebody said, let's make it look like a bull's head drawn on Microsoft Paint and at a yoke. Let's not finish the white outline on the side panels. Let's make the logo small, but not make it look undersized because of the way that the side panels work. And we're going to add collar laces on top of that. And the fact that we didn't all throw up at it. And not only that, but the fact that this gets a CCM vintage reissue.
Yeah,
says a lot.
That's true.
This jersey is well loved, and for good reason. Has it aged? Honestly, I think it's aged. It's actually gotten better with age. I think that at the time it wasn't really well loved, but now we look and we go, yeah, it's colorful. It fits more now with what design trends are, with lots of color and with simple but different striping than it did back then. I will say though, the yoke in retrospect was unnecessary.
I totally disagree. I think this is aged horribly. I really do.
Oh.
I don't think I'm looking at this. I remember when it came out and I was excited about an orange Islanders alternate, but now looking at this, there's just so many different ideas going on here. This is a clusterfuck of a jersey. TC, what do you think about this thing?
I'll give them points. They went balls to the wall with this one. Part of me is just wondering. I think the only logical explanation is that they had one guy do the base of the jersey, and then he just had the other guy come up with the striping. So he's like, okay, I'm going to make an Isles alt. I'll make it orange. They'll like that. I'll put a tie-down collar because they don't use that anymore. I think that'll look good. I'll throw a blue yoke on just to break up some of that brightness of the orange. Chet, what you got for the... What the fuck, Chet? Have you been smoking PCP again? Like, it's just... It comes out left field, and the fact that the white piping doesn't continue all the way onto the arms, like the angular nature of it combined with the smoothness of the traditional yoke just really bothers me. I think if it were a squared off yoke, you might be able to get away with it, but the fact that you have just such jagged striping, if you can even call it that, combined with the more rounded nature, just it clashes. I will say the smaller logo, you don't notice it as much because of the side paneling. But when I look at it, all I can think is they made these jerseys and they just wanted two big arrows to be like, hey, look at our dicks.
This looks to me like the jagged sides almost look to me like someone was like, oh, it's an abstract piece of art, but they're not detailed enough. They're too simple to be abstract art. This is just really, really weird. And I think I enjoyed it at the time because it was an orange alternate jersey for the Islanders. Looking at this now, this is mind blowing how this doesn't make sense in any way. This thing's unbelievable. And Shawn bringing up the fact that it did get a CCM reissue is absolutely amazing. Just incredible. But let's go to the Philadelphia Flyers orange alternate from the same season, the last season of the CCM Classic Cut jerseys. Shawn, what do you think about this jersey?
This jersey is so nostalgic to me for a number of reasons. It's honestly my favorite Flyers jersey of all time. And the reason for that is when the Flyers made that incredible run in 2009-10, I hopped on the bandwagon, saved up 2 months of paper route money, went to coolhockey.com and bought that jersey on clearance and got it customized for $50 total because they were still clearing out CCM stuff. Got who my favorite goaltender at the time was, and as a kid he was a favorite too, Roman Cechmanek.
Oh, man.
He wore that for 1 year, and I got him on the back of that. So, honestly, I look at this, and I think, here's everything they did right. I love the arm striping. I love the black numbers. I love the introduction of silver. At the time, I loved that 3D beveled logo, and you know what? I don't hate it now. I don't love it. It's not good. It screams new millennium. But there's something about it that I also like. From a distance, it has this neat effect. When you look at it up close, it also looks nice. This is just this weird middle distance where it looks off, I think. Because from a distance, it just looks like you had silver. Up close, you see the nice rigid details. But from a middle distance, it kind of looks off. Again, I'd never advocate making a set out of this.
No, goodness, no.
But the bias I have for this being one of the first jerseys I ever bought, was the first jersey I ever added to my collection. On top of it being a relatively obscure and rare jersey, for a team that really hasn't worn many, this is one of my favorite jerseys.
Yeah, this thing is, I mean, I always thought, okay, the Flyers had it perfectly. You know, the jerseys they wear now, we're like, okay, that's from the first era of Flyers hockey. Then what they were wearing in the mid-2000s, okay, that's the next era of Flyers hockey. There was no other options for me. And then they came out with this, and it's like, okay, that's just what they can do right now. That's what's available to them. And it fit the era so perfectly. It was escaping from the 90s. Let's do something for the new millennium. We'll make it shiny and we'll bevel it and we'll put these different designs on the stripes. It's just, it has this charm that I'm sure you guys go ahead.
I don't know if you brought this up, but the hard part with the beveling to the yoke and the sides of the jerseys, it goes from white to orange. There's nothing between it. Literally where the arms sew to the jersey, just parts there. You would never see that today.
Oh, no.
You never see hard part colors, and here they did it. And you're exactly right, is that this jersey is, to the 2000s, what something like, name any of the 90s, like the Pittsburgh gradient jersey is to the 90s.
Yes.
And honestly, this should get a CCM reissue because it fits the era so well. And at this point, it was unveiled 16 years ago.
Wow.
That makes me feel old too, because I remember these were new. I remember when these were new.
Yeah, these are TC. What do you think about these?
You know what? I don't hate them. I think that the sort of weird swooping arm stripe, I think it's a neat design. I will say the fact that, like Shawn said, on the underarm, it just kind of stops. That bothers me a lot. The beveled logo, I think, was a decent idea. I think in execution, it just did not work because unless you're right there on it, it just looks like sort of a chromified version, kind of like what they did for the Stadium Series a couple years back. The use of silver in this jersey doesn't really work for me on the hem stripe, and in the numbers, it just blends into the white. It kind of works on the cuffs, but again, it would work just as well without it. But I do like, it's a very unique design, and I think I can give them points for that.
All right, let's choose our winners here in the battle of the orange jerseys from the last year of the CCM era. Shawn, give us your winner, Islanders or Flyers?
Flyers win it by a landslide. This one isn't even close. You know what? Like, again, I just think that this jersey has sort of faded from a lot of people's memory, and I don't think it got the love it deserved at the time. But yeah, in retrospect, this jersey has sort of become, I think become the early 2000s pre-edge design to a T, and I think it deserves more love than it gets.
TC, who's your winner?
I am also going to go with the Flyers. I think it has some faults, but it's definitely a more on-brand and better-looking jersey than what the Islanders put out.
And I am going to make it a clean sweep for the Flyers. Just while we were doing this exercise, I talked myself into the Flyers winning and the Islanders just being atrocious. So clean sweep, the Philadelphia Flyers, orange alternate, wins this edition of Throwback Throwdown. Fake or authentic? It's now time for fake or authentic. This is where I've come up with 3 statements that I believe to be true. And the writers will decide whether or not, just like the jerseys you see at NHL rinks across North America, whether or not they are fake or authentic. Here we go. Statement number 1. I've played hockey on ice, or I want to play hockey on ice at some point. Shawn, fake or authentic?
That is completely authentic. I only played 1 season, Pee-wee. Played it during the lockout. The Oakville Hound Dogs, number 3.
Number 3.
Those are defensemen.
Great number.
Had 2 assists, no goals, and 4 penalty minutes.
It's a good season. Way to go, Shawn.
That's still a good season, third-line defenseman. Other than that, I do remember that the baseball rink near my house back in Oakville would be frozen over, and someone would flood it every winter. And you just bring a hockey net, bring some skates. You could skate on that right through November to March. And that was a lot of fun.
Good times there. TC, fake or authentic?
I'm going to go authentic. If we're going on, like, surface, like, finished surfaces, like in a rink. Yeah, I've done that, but I'd really love to play some pond hockey. I think that would be a fantastic experience. That's what really, that's where hockey began. I think every true hockey fan and player should have that experience at least once in their life.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not going to happen down here in Georgia.
Not unless there's some sort of unseasonably cold swoop that swings in and stays. That would
it would literally be hell freezing over.
But going back to pond hockey, I would love to find a way to get to the pond hockey world championships at least once. That would be an experience. They set up rinks just all across I guess a pond, and just people playing pond hockey all over. I think that would be really exciting. Fake or authentic, number 2. I'll take a free game-used fisherman jersey over looking like The Rock. Shawn.
I hate to be the one to complicate this, but are we talking WWF Rock or are we talking acting Rock?
No, The Rock right now in 2018.
He's gotten bigger. Since being a wrestler to become an actor, he has gotten bigger. It makes no sense.
Yeah, but controversial opinion, he looked way better as a wrestler.
Oh, Shawn.
Like it's not even close.
No.
He absolutely did. He's looking a little freakish now.
Yeah, he looks freakish now. Like when he's in. Yeah, I remember seeing him as a kid, and I'm like, that's what I want to be. And then he looks like how he does now, and I'm like, I don't want to be that at all.
He is a freak. He pounds back.
Look,
he pounds back like, giant meals like 6-7 times a day, and is constantly working out.
I take the free game worn jersey. Now, if we're talking like WWE, taking on Steve Austin, now we're talking about there's an argument to be had there. But frankly, I'd rather look like Shawn Michaels over either of them.
Yeah, you did complicate that one. TC, fake or authentic? Free Islanders fisherman game-used jersey or looking like The Rock?
Oh, 100% authentic. I love the fisherman. I would love a game-used fisherman. And I think we've covered The Rock just looks freakish at this point. But you know what? It doesn't matter what I think.
That's fantastic. Well done. I'm taking, I don't know, like, I would love a game-used fisherman, but The Rock looks fantastic. I don't know. I might have to change this. And I'm like
finding those, like, I'm pretty sure his biceps are the size of my waist.
That would be, I don't know. I think The Rock is fantastic. I'm a big Rock fan. I think the guy could literally probably do anything right now. But that's a toss-up. Anyways, let's go to the third one. I put a lot of effort into this fake or authentic. And it's a bit longer than usual, but here we go. A game-used jersey of your favorite player is laying across a zebra's back in the African savannah. The zebra is awake. You're 30 yards away from the zebra. There's a pride of lions 50 yards away. They're sleeping. Fake or authentic? I would jump off of my safari jeep to run and grab the game-used jersey. Shawn.
Completely authentic. To what I know about lions, if they're sleeping, and it's the day, they're not getting up.
Yeah, I didn't specify time of day, did I?
Yeah, lions hunt at night. So if it's during the day, they're cats. They are cats at nature. So if it's during the day and they're comfortable, they're not getting up.
You're comfortable that your 30 yards has enough, you got enough room there to get to that jersey before the lions?
I trust my safari guide shotgun too.
No, he's not there to help you. He has no interest. He has no interest in this game-used jersey.
Do I get a shotgun?
No. You just have your legs and your.
Does the bear get a shotgun?
Do the lions have shotguns?
I should have given the lions shotguns. Damn it.
No, completely authentic. I don't know. Again, the Dwayne Rollison gamer, the Ron Francis gamer, an Andre Pavlik gamer. Now we're talking.
The Rangers Pavlik gamer, right?
Bastard.
I should have changed the Lions status to there are shotguns near the Lions, but they have not completed their shotgun training yet. So
They have no thumbs.
They have figured out a way to use a shotgun without thumbs, and they like jerseys.
They're working on it. They're working on it.
They were kept in that captivity till they were fully grown, and the trainer would use jerseys to calm them down when they got excited as cubs. So
the favorites are obviously Manchester Monarchs.
So there's a beautiful Jonathan Quick Manchester Monarchs game used jersey, signed at game used, sitting on the zebra's back. But the Lions see it too, and they really want it. They need their blanket.
Oh man. All right, TC, fake or authentic? Are you going for that game used jersey?
You know, this is a tough one because I see a game used Matt Zuccarello jersey sitting on a zebra. First thought in my mind is, damn, I want that jersey. Second thought in my mind is, how the fuck did that get in Africa?
Is that fake?
And then third thought in my mind is, zebras can run 40 miles an hour. So there's a good chance that I'm going to run towards the zebra. It's going to take off. Here's the question. Is the jersey attached to the zebra? Is it tied down? Is it secured? Because if it's just me like running at a zebra and scaring it so it drops the jersey, yes, 100% authentic. But if that thing is attached to that zebra, no, because it's going 40 miles. I know I can't catch that goddamn zebra.
Now it's literally duct taped with a note that says "free jersey."
Written by the zebra?
Written by the zebra, there's a little hoof print on it.
The
R's are backwards. That's how you know it was written by the zebra.
The zebra, before you came, the zebra had a pen in its mouth, and it's thinking, how do you make an R again? Oh, yeah.
It had its buddy write the sign.
I learned from
it's on his back.
Friend Jeffrey, the Toys R Us giraffe.
This question did exactly what I wanted it to do, because now I'm picturing TC out in the middle of Africa sneaking up on a zebra just to scare it so it drops the jersey. Keeping one eye on the sleeping lions 50 yards away.
That's the thing. You have to scare the zebra, but not bother the lions.
Yeah, you might end because you got 30 yards. You got to make it back to the truck because that guy's
scared the. Human doesn't taste good to lions. Zebra tastes good to lions. So if the zebra takes off and the lions are looking at you, and it isn't the Manchester Monarchs jersey that they love so much, they're looking at the zebra and they think meal. They look at you and they go, ew.
You're closer and slower, though, than a zebra.
Yeah, but you don't taste as good.
But they might, that's true, but they might go for the easy meal.
But, Shawn, you forget that I use barbecue-flavored deodorant.
Yes, I forgot. In the south of the United States, they do that.
I bathe and wash my hair in KC Masterpiece.
That's fantastic.
For those of you who actually live south of the Mason-Dixon, Sweet Baby Ray's.
Ooh.
The sauce is boss.
We get that here, and it's delicious. Should be the official sauce of the NHL, not Heinz ketchup.
Sweet Baby Ray's is fantastic.
The official sauce.
Fuck Frank's Red Hot. I put that shit on everything.
The official sauce of the NHL is ketchup. If that doesn't describe Gary Bettman, I don't know what does.
There's lots of sauces in the world, just not even the official barbecue sauce, just the official
marinara, bechamel, a nice au jus. Although that's a hot button issue. Some people don't think it's an actual sauce.
Today on the round table, we're talking official sauces of the NHL.
Le Club packets of Béarnaise sauce, official sponsor of the Montreal Canadiens 2018-19 season, and then Ottawa ones up them. Ottawa picks Ottawa picks local artisan ketchup from like Orleans, Ontario. No, Renfrew, because Renfrew's got the creamery, so they do creamed ketchup
in little glass containers and
glass containers.
Is syrup a sauce?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Syrup
So
is
whenever
a
you're a
sauce.
hockey player, syrup that over to me.
No,
What?
syrup is a sauce.
Syrup's a sauce.
Yeah, okay, then detergent's a sauce.
I mean, I've been snacking on Tide Pods this whole podcast.
We all
so
have.
There's a reason they sell the bulk ones. It's kind of like Lay's potato chips. You can't have just one.
It's not like I'm cooking up pasta and tossing it with some Tide or something like that.
Well, of course not Tide. God, you gotta go Bounty.
Eat them raw, eat them cooked, eat them every day. Tide Pods, official sponsor of the HJC podcast.
Don't say that. They're gonna email us now. Can you please take that part out? We are in no way affiliated with your podcast.
We were going to sponsor you guys, and then we heard the part about the zebra, and you're taping zebras now, and the Lions have shotguns. This is some weird, Simba.
And your obscure reference to the Manchester Monarchs.
We cut ties with them in 2007, after Jonathan Bernier called us the second best sauce. So
Syrup's not a sauce, damn it. All right. Let's go. Well done on fake or authentic. Let's go right into the mailbag. Mailbag. This is the HJC Mailbag, and if you want to leave a question in the HJC Mailbag to have it possibly read on a future Jersey Nerds podcast, you can go to hockeyjerseyconcepts.com, and on the side of the page you'll see a form where you can leave your question, and be sure to leave your name. Or if you don't want to do that, you can also email us, mailbag@hockeyjerseyconcepts.com. All right, let's go dig deep into the mailbag, see what we got here. This one's from Burkus. Do you think Dallas, Minnesota game where they both wear North Stars throwbacks would be awesome? Shawn, what do you think?
I don't know, Burkus, what do you think?
He thinks the answer is yes. That's what he wrote.
I will tell you that no. Because if you've ever played any of the NHL games and your friends pick the same team, but one wears home and one wears away, or better yet, you wear the same jerseys or you wear very similar jerseys, it sucks because you can't tell who's who. Remember when Florida and Dallas showed up in the same jersey? Or the same color jersey? They both wore white in London, Ontario. Same principle.
TC, would Dallas, Minnesota, both wearing North Stars throwback game work?
No, it's. I'm ashamed that you even came up with this question. First of all, the legal rights. I don't know what team has the rights over which part of it, so that would be a conundrum. And on top of it, the same reason that Shawn said, it's going to be a nightmare to figure things out. Like, if you have, first of all, both teams are not used to wearing these jerseys, so they're already off their game with that. So you're looking around in the heat of the moment, you pass, and oh, whoops, it's to the other team.
I don't even think the city of Minneapolis and St. Paul want the Dallas Stars wearing North Stars jerseys, because I think that's a bit
touchy.
Yeah, a bit touchy, that relationship.
It'd be like Phoenix wearing Winnipeg-inspired jerseys, or
Carolina wearing Whalers.
Oh, that's going to go over really well with the 10 people who show up to Hartford Whalers games and the 30-something boomers who sit around going, I didn't go to a single Hartford Whalers game after Bobby Hull left, but man, do I miss that team. I remember that year they beat the Habs. They were great. How couldn't they had to move teams where it's hot?
Your senior's Hartford accent is just fantastic. Spot on.
For those not from Connecticut, that's what Connecticutians sound like.
Connecticutians.
Connecticutians. Connecticutties.
Connecticutans.
Connecticutties. There we go. The Hartford Connecticutties.
Oh, boy.
AHL, get on that.
We would like to apologize to anyone listening in Connecticut. All right.
Not for the comment, just for Connecticut.
just in general, we would like to throw out an apology. Yeah. That's what we should do every week. Just apologize generally to people.
That's the Canadian thing I've heard.
Yeah, but it's all going to be American. Like, you're never going to hear us go, we apologize to everybody living in Ottawa.
Just
like, we'll never say that. We'll never say, like, sorry to everybody living in East Hants, Nova Scotia. Or Dalhousie, New Brunswick. Like, no, we'll never say that. We'll say, like, yeah, sorry to everybody living in Wyoming, if you exist.
We are sorry to those in Nebraska. Moving on. All right, this one comes in from Christopher J. What do you think both the Philadelphia Flyers and Pittsburgh Penguins will use in their upcoming Stadium Series game? Shawn, any thoughts on what they may wear?
Pittsburgh is tough. And here's the thing about these games. It's a good question because we don't know if it's going to be color versus color or black and white or orange and white or orange and yellow. Honestly, we could see Pittsburgh rehash their 2017 jerseys. I'd be okay with that. I'd actually like to see a black version of that jersey. So let's say, totally hypothetical, black version of what they wore in 2017. And for the Flyers, I'd like to see something where they reintroduce silver. An orange version of their alternate would be the simplest thing. I don't know how orange versus black works. So, yeah, you know what? Let's do that. An orange version of their current alternate with the same, like, the big numbers and everything that we loved about the original. And just a black, like, it's a simple color swap. Like, make the games connect a little bit. That was a good-looking game.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. That's what I was going to say, and that's what I think they should do. TC, what do you think they should wear for the Stadium Series game?
I do like y'all's idea for it. I do really, especially if it's going to be color on color. I think that for specialty games like this, they should be color on color. You may not have to do it for, like, but if you're having a big deal and they're going to be one-off, color versus color should be the way to go. We all saw the Red Wings and Maple Leafs, and that game was gorgeous to watch. I do think what y'all described is probably close to what we see. But what I'd like to see from the Flyers is something a little more out of the box. Like the Penguins, I think a black version of their gold Stadium Series would be great. But for the Flyers, I'd like to see maybe, work in something where the winged P ends up in the striping somehow. Get some striping based off of that. Or do something a little edgier with their current striping. But so it's not quite the same, but almost. Actually, do something based off of just talked about that orange alternate. Do something like that.
Just silver.
Retool
wherever.
that a little bit.
Just full throwback.
Yeah. Because that's the funny thing. It would be a throwback, but it would work for the Stadium Series, which is more modern because it was such a forward-thinking design.
Start beveling the shit out of everything. Let's go. All right. Our final question today, and I think you guys might have had something to do with this. This was left in mid-July here in the mailbag from a name I can't even pronounce. Yao Fortman. I'll spell the name. First name, Youaux. Last name, Fouretman. Man. Yao Fortman. But let's see. He's got several questions here. These are fantastic questions. Is water wet? Yes.
No.
Yes, water is wet.
No, water makes things wet. Water itself is either in a perpetual state of being wet. If you throw water on water, does that water become wet?
Water contains wetness. Water is wet.
What is wetness?
Water creates wet.
Water creates wetness.
But
then
wet.
Brian is right. It does contain wetness.
Water's wet. All right. Second question in this string of questions. Is cereal soup? No.
No, because you don't.
No.
I've had this conversation before. No, if anything, cereal is breakfast ramen because all you do is add a liquid to something overly dry. It's relatively cheap, and it's not particularly great for you. But as a student, you live off of it.
You can have dry cereal as a snack too.
You can have dry ramen.
If you're a serial killer.
So cereal's not.
I didn't even mean that pun. That was completely unintended.
You're just saying
I'm just
weird.
saying, if you eat dry cereal, you might have a freezer full of heads.
I did that as a kid, and then I tried it again with like Oreos, and I'm like, this is disgusting.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't even get me started. My girlfriend got so excited by the return of Oreos. I have not heard the end of it.
Well, what are Oreos?
They are. You can get them at Walmart. You can get them at any grocery store, but they're cheapest at Walmart, obviously.
I've never seen them at Walmart.
They are chocolate Fruit Loops with like specks of like the dry icing.
Oh, that's got to be good for you.
Oh,
Yeah, it's Oreo flavored cereal that they had in the 90s and early 2000s, and then it went away and was only available in, I believe, Malaysia
that was
for a
Korea.
while. Okay, Korea. And then they just brought it back here, and it's been insane.
I'm gonna have to get my hands on that. I've never seen that before.
But no, cereal is not soup because soup isn't just one ingredient plus milk.
Okay, this is a bit of a brain melter. Are Pop-Tarts ravioli? No.
Yes.
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 No.
Pop-Tarts are breakfast ravioli.
No, they aren't because you don't. When you make ravioli, you don't take the pasta, dry it, and then but you put the sauce in it and then let it dry too. But
do you know the formuoli?
A toaster strudel is breakfast ravioli because you add the sauce to your own delightfulness. The filling is.
What is a Pop-Tart if not the bastard stepchild of toaster strudels?
Pop-Tarts are for
toast. It's the common man's toaster strudel. I'm tired of your bougie Pillsbury agenda.
Toaster strudels are for the elites and those who want to be the elites, while Pop-Tarts are for people who perpetually think that they're 10. And I'll meet you somewhere in the middle.
Pop-Tarts are
gross.
maybe they're inspired by ravioli, but they are
They've
not.
gotten so out of control. I was in Target the other day. They have Jolly Rancher flavored Pop-Tarts. They have Orange Crush soda flavored Pop-Tarts. They're getting out of control.
Okay, I can top that.
What?
In Canada, I think it was for Canada 150, they did pizza pockets. Okay, so pizza pockets are stoner ravioli.
Yeah.
Deep fried stoner ravioli. And I think Ryan knows where I'm going with this.
Yep.
You go down any frozen section in Canada, you will see these. Pizza pockets, limited edition. Bacon mac and cheese stuffed. There's no pizza in it. It's just bacon mac and cheese inside the crust of a pizza pocket.
You can get pot pies like that.
Yeah, but
it's not limited edition in America. It's Tuesday. Let's get a bacon mac and cheese pot pie.
And that's why I love your country. But here, it's limited edition to say let's put mac and cheese in a
pocket
stuffed pizza thing.
Bread pocket.
I don't know if y'all have it up there. Actually, you probably do because I recently found out DiGiorno is made in Canada.
We have Delicio.
Oh, really? Well,
it's not delivery, it's Delicio. Which you say that in America, they go, it's DiGiorno.
Yeah, DiGiorno. But DiGiorno, I don't know if Delicio does this, but we have stuffed crust, and then we also have bacon stuffed crust.
Oh my goodness!
Where they put bacon and cheese into the crust.
Delicio is so terrible. Here's the thing. Okay, I'm from a city where all the pizza's terrible. Every pizza place in Halifax is god awful. Disgusting, and Domino's is the best one. But the actual best one is the frozen pizza section of your grocery store. But in Canada, our big thing is, no, the pizza's square to fit your pan better. Literally, I go down to pizza, it's we got Hawaiian, 4 cheese, vegetable, square. Whoa!
Square is
how do you do
not
that?
a flavor.
Square bread?
We have round pizza pans. Like, those exist. You can pick them up at the dollar store.
I'm from a country where bagged milk is not an option, but the default. And
wait, what? You get your milk in bags?
You're not aware of this?
It takes up less space in the fridge than a carton. Let's be clear.
That's horrifying.
3 bags in a sack.
You put your milk.
Are you sure it's a bag? Are you sure they didn't just skin the udder and give it to you?
They might have. I'm
just
fine
leave
with that.
whatever was left of the innards on there, and you just squeeze it out. Do you have to pull it out spigot, or do you like squeeze it out?
No. It's literally a thing. It's just like a corner of a razor blade in a plastic mold.
Yeah, it's called a snippet.
The side. Yeah, it's called a snippet. But snip dash it, and you just cut the corner of a milk. And you put it in a plastic container, and it makes sense. This makes no sense.
So wait. No, that makes no sense, because then you have to provide your own plastic container, so it doesn't save space in your fridge.
But you use the same plastic container every time. And on top of that, it still takes up less space in the fridge. Because you can fit almost 4 milk bags for the same amount of space a jug takes up. A 4-liter jug.
How much milk is in this bag, and how much does the milk bag cost? Because I can get a gallon of milk for like $2.
Well, you're not talking in our terms.
I'm from expensive tax land, so everything costs a lot, and I have to pay a lot of tax on everything. So it's $5.19 for 4 liters of milk here, so a gallon.
$5.19. That's a racket.
And we have to pay, and it's 15% sales tax on it.
Why are you paying?
Sweet Christ!
Why are you paying $5.19 for milk?
Because that's what it is for 4 liters of milk.
And there's no tax on milk. If you're paying tax on milk, you're going to the wrong
milk
store.
Tax of odd 6.
It's Nova Scotia. Are you kidding me? They see you walking down the street. It's like, yeah, that fatigued the sidewalk a little bit there, by. So you gotta take.
That's a Canadian government thing.
Nova Scotia has a 10-cent deposit fee on every, this is to my knowledge, this wasn't a thing in Ontario. If I buy a bottle of pop in Ontario, the price on the sticker is what I have to pay. In Nova Scotia, I got to pay at least 10 cents on top of that, because they're trying to motivate you to bring the bottles back yourself.
Oh, see, but when I was living in Denmark, because we buy a crate of beer, like a literal crate.
Oh, yeah, no.
They have. And then when you return that crate, they have the machine. You don't even have to talk to another human being. It's wonderful. You just put the crate back in the machine, and you're already halfway to your next crate of beer with the return money.
Oh, that's not what it is here. Here it's like, oh, you want that 89-cent can of Arizona iced tea? Well, actually, it just went up to $1 because you got to put a 10% deposit fee on that for a can of pop. So if I buy,
fuck you. They're not 89 cents. They're 99 cents in the U.S., so you're paying your deposit.
Plus 15% tax. So they're on special when I buy them.
So what we've learned is Shawn is severely overpaying for milk here. Bags of milk.
What we've learned is that in Nova Scotia, you pay 15% sales tax, and I don't like it. And I want to go to Alberta or New Hampshire where I don't have to pay sales tax.
Fighting for a free Nova Scotia, boys.
Fighting for a free Nova Scotia here on the HJC podcast.
Oh, man. Well, there's Canada and the food situation for any folks
any more
who
questions on that one?
Yeah, there is. We got three more here.
All right, here we go.
Isn't Boston cream pie a cake? Nope.
No.
I'm going to go with pie on that one.
It's a pie. It's in the name.
It's in the name. I'm not.
It's also the best donut, the king of donuts, the Boston cream.
Incorrect.
The Boston cream's the best donut.
No, sour cream glazed cake donut's the best.
No, you're just so wrong. The Boston cream is the king of donuts.
It truly is. All right, got to move on. Is ketchup a jam? Yes, it is.
No.
Yes,
it's made nasty.
It's made the same way. It's a jam.
No, I like jam. I don't like ketchup. Therefore, it's not a jam. And don't ask me how the logic works. That's just how things work in my head. If I associate ketchup,
chutney is tomato jam.
Yes.
Ketchup is a tomato puree sauce
filled with vinegar, piss, and
sugar.
It's from children at McDonald's.
Does everyone here keep their ketchup in the fridge?
No.
What
Cold
is wrong
ketchup
with
is
you?
Disgusting.
Ketchup goes in the fridge.
Cold ketchup is absolutely disgusting.
You're disgusting.
Well, yeah, but look what I'm wearing. For those of you not on the video feed, I'm also wearing floral shorts.
Ketchup is a jam that belongs in the fridge. Moving on to the final question here from Yao. Is anything true? No, nothing is true.
Yes.
Live your life that way. Nothing is true.
Yes, there are 3 things that are true in life. No matter what, if you're a shitty contract in the NHL, you're going to Phoenix or Florida. The Winnipeg Jets are going to win the 2019 Stanley Cup. And James Neal's a dick.
What if he listens? Who the fuck?
Then he can come on and talk to me about being a dick, and we can give him a sticker. Like, I'll still give the guy a sticker. I appreciate his dickness.
You're a dick. Here's a sticker.
You're a dick. There we go. Somebody sent in a picture of James, like a stick figure with James Neal's name on the back of a jersey, and it says, "You're a dick. Here's a sticker."
If anybody orders an HJC logo sticker, I'll throw in a note. You're a dick. Here's a sticker.
Good tweet.
I will say my 3 truths. 1, peanut butter is the greatest substance known to man.
Allergic, you ass.
That sounds like a personal problem. 2,
it's not my concern. Sorry.
And the number 1 truth.
I missed number 2 there because you cut out.
Oh, dogs are awesome.
Yep. Good point.
And the number 1 truth. Steve Ott is the worst human being to ever walk this earth.
You guys are really attacking some NHL players here.
If I had Pol Pot, Adolf Hitler, and Steve Ott in a room, and a gun and a shotgun with 2 shells,
you'd shoot Steve.
I would shoot Steve Ott twice.
Jesus, you know what? Like, here's the thing. Again, my whole thing was I just called James Neal a dick and offered him a sticker.
To make
you know what? I'm gonna tweet that out.
Steve Ott, you can get a free sticker if you let me shoot you twice.
Oh my God, I'm bleeding. Yeah, here's your sticker, bud. See ya.
Patch it up. Just throw some cotton down, and it's a Band-Aid. You're welcome.
Oh, man. Well, we've learned a lot on today's podcast. A lot of hatred for James Neal. A lot of hatred for Steve Ott. Everyone here thinks you could outrun some sleeping lions. And I think before all of that, we touched on the Newfoundland Growlers new jerseys. So there's not much more you can throw into a podcast here. And we've gone longer than we usually do with less guests. So this has been one hell of a podcast. Shawn, TC, thanks for being a part of it.
Always a pleasure.
Great as always.
It is, isn't it? As always, we got the Jersey Casual stuff up for sale on the blog. For a little while longer, we'll also have the HJC logo stickers. But now that also includes a note that says, "You're a dick, here's a sticker," every time you order one of those logo stickers. Going on while you're listening to the podcast, if you listen to it the week it came out, is the 2018 HJC Open semifinals voting. So get in on that. And as well, the regular Concept of the Week voting is going on. This will be the first week in 3 weeks that someone not named TC will win. So I guess that's exciting. Woo! That's exciting unless you're TC. As always, we want to hear your feedback for the podcast, so you can leave comments. You can email us anytime, mailbag@hockeyjerseyconcepts.com. And most of all, we want you to share the podcast with your friends, with your family, with your mistress, with just some people that you see online. Let everyone know about the Jersey Nerds podcast. Let's get some more people listening.
Everybody tweet James Neal.
Tweet James Neal. Tell him what we think. And get them listening to the podcast. That's what we got for you this week. Goodbye, everybody.